A new automatic transmission for your Dodge will cost you between $3,000 and $6,000 installed. That's assuming you find a good independent shop. Go to the dealer and that number climbs higher. What makes that figure genuinely painful is that most of the transmissions I've seen fail didn't have to fail. They were killed by habits their owners didn't even know were dangerous. Completely normal feeling things that happen every single day in driveways and parking lots and on highways across the country. Habits that feel harmless in the moment and show up as a $4,500 repair bill 6 months later with zero warning. I'm going through the 4 biggest mistakes Dodge automatic transmission owners make, what it costs when it goes wrong, and exactly what's happening inside that transmission when you do it. Stay until the end, because the last one on this list is the most common mistake of all and almost nobody knows they're doing it. Let's start with number 1. Shifting into park or reverse before your Dodge comes to a complete stop. This one gets people every single time because it feels like nothing. You're rolling at 2 or 3 miles per hour into a parking space, you throw it in park before the vehicle fully stops, and nothing dramatic happens. No noise, no shudder. Just a small clunk and the car stops. You do that twice a day, 5 days a week, and inside your transmission, something is absorbing that impact every single time. Here's what's actually happening. When you shift into park while still moving, a physical component called the parking pawl drops into a notched ring attached to your output shaft. The parking pawl is a small metal pin. The notched ring is hardened steel. When your vehicle is still rolling and you engage park, that pawl tries to drop into a moving ring. Sometimes it catches cleanly. Sometimes it skips across the teeth before catching. Every time it skips, it puts stress on the tip of that pawl and on the teeth of the ring. Do that enough times and the pawl tip rounds off. The ring teeth wear down. One day the pawl drops and snaps instead of catching. Now your vehicle has no park. It rolls freely in park. That's not a fluid change, that's internal mechanical damage that requires transmission removal to fix. Parking pawl replacement plus labor runs $800 to $1,500 minimum, depending on your specific transmission. And that's if the pawl is the only casualty. If the output shaft ring is damaged too, you're into a full rebuild conversation. The fix is simple. Come to a complete stop every single time. Let the vehicle sit completely still for 1 full second before shifting into park. That 1 second costs you nothing. The habit of skipping it can cost you 4 figures. Mistake number 2, rocking between drive and reverse when you're stuck. You're in a parking lot after a snowstorm or you've pulled off the road onto soft ground and your Dodge is stuck. So you do what feels logical. You shift into reverse, give it some gas, shift back to drive, give it some gas, back and forth, trying to build momentum and rock yourself free. Here's the deal. Every single time you shift between drive and reverse while the wheels are spinning or the drivetrain is under load, you are forcing your transmission's clutch packs to engage against opposing forces. Clutch packs are made of friction material bonded to steel plates. They are designed to engage smoothly when the drivetrain is in a neutral or near-neutral state. They are not designed to slam into engagement against a spinning drivetrain fighting in the opposite direction. What happens when you rock repeatedly is this. Each aggressive shift overheats those clutch packs. Transmission fluid temperature spikes. The friction material on the clutch plates glazes from the heat. Glazed clutch material doesn't grip the way it should. You start getting soft shifts, then delayed shifts, then slipping under acceleration. Then you're at a shop being told your clutch packs are burned and your transmission needs a rebuild. A full clutch pack replacement across all circuits in a Dodge automatic runs $1,800 to $3,500 depending on which transmission you have. The correct way to get a stuck Dodge free is to use slow, deliberate, minimal throttle inputs. Shift to drive. Apply light, steady throttle. If it doesn't move, back off completely. Come to a stop. Shift to reverse. Light, steady throttle. Let the vehicle find its own footing. Never spin the tires aggressively while shifting. Never shift while the drivetrain is loaded. And if it isn't coming out with gentle rocking, call for a tow. A tow costs $150. A transmission rebuild costs 20 times that. Mistake number 3, towing beyond your rated capacity or towing without understanding what capacity actually means. Your Dodge has a tow rating. That number is on a sticker in your door jamb and in your owner's manual. Most owners know the number. Very few understand what that number actually represents or what happens to the transmission when you push past it. Here's the kicker. Your tow rating is a maximum number calculated under ideal conditions. Level ground, moderate temperatures, properly loaded trailer with correct tongue weight distribution. The moment you deviate from those conditions, your effective safe towing capacity drops. You're towing your rated maximum up a mountain pass in August. Your transmission fluid temperature is climbing well past what the engineers modeled. You're towing your rated maximum with too much weight on the back of the trailer and not enough tongue weight. Your transmission is working against instability the entire trip. Heat is the single biggest killer of automatic transmissions. Transmission fluid is rated to operate safely up to around 200 degrees Fahrenheit. At 240 degrees, the fluid starts breaking down. At 270 degrees, the seals inside your transmission start deteriorating. At 300 degrees, you are doing permanent damage with every mile you drive. Towing hard in hot weather without an external transmission cooler can push fluid temperatures well past those numbers in under an hour. The damage doesn't always announce itself immediately. You finish the trip, the transmission cools down, everything seems fine. What you can't see is that the seals are now slightly compromised. The fluid has lost a significant portion of its protective additives. The clutch material has experienced heat stress it won't fully recover from. That transmission now has a shortened lifespan, measured in tens of thousands of miles instead of hundreds of thousands. If you tow regularly with any Dodge automatic, install an external transmission cooler. The cost is $150 to $350 installed. That cooler will keep fluid temperatures in a safe range under load and extend the life of your transmission significantly. Also know your actual capacity for your actual conditions, not just the sticker number, and change your transmission fluid more frequently if you tow. Heavy towing duty means fluid changes every 30,000 miles instead of 60,000. No exceptions. Mistake number 4. Ignoring transmission fluid changes because the sticker or the manual says the fluid is lifetime. This is the one that gets more Dodge transmission owners than any mistake on this list combined. At some point, Dodge, like every other manufacturer, started calling automatic transmission fluid lifetime fill. The idea was that modern synthetic transmission fluids were so advanced and so stable that they would outlast the vehicle under normal conditions. Here's what lifetime actually means in practice. It means the manufacturer does not want to include a fluid change in the scheduled maintenance interval because it makes their ownership cost projections look better on paper. It does not mean the fluid never degrades. It does not mean the fluid never gets contaminated. And it absolutely does not mean you should never change it. Here's what's happening inside your transmission right now if you've never changed the fluid. Every time your clutch packs engage, they shed microscopic particles of friction material into the fluid. Every time your transmission gets hot, those particles circulate through every passage, every valve body circuit, and every bearing surface in the unit. Over time, that fluid goes from a clean reddish synthetic to a dark, contaminated slurry carrying everything it's collected since the factory fill. That contaminated fluid doesn't lubricate the way clean fluid does. The valve body that controls shift pressure starts responding sluggishly because the passages are partially restricted. Shift quality degrades slowly enough that you don't notice it day to day. Then one day the transmission slips, or shifts hard, or drops out of overdrive on the highway. And the shop tells you the valve body is damaged and the clutch packs are worn, and you're looking at a rebuild. Change your Dodge automatic transmission fluid every 30,000 to 60,000 miles, depending on your driving conditions. Towing, city driving, and hot climates push you toward 30,000. Mostly highway miles and moderate temperatures give you more runway toward 60,000. Use only the fluid specification your transmission requires. The 8 HP series transmissions require ATF plus 4, or the ZF approved equivalent. The 6.5 RFE and 6.6 RFE require ATF plus 4. The NAG1 requires the MB236.14 specification fluid. Put the wrong fluid in any of these transmissions, and you will cause damage. The additive packages in different fluid formulations are not interchangeable. Generic multi-vehicle fluid is not acceptable in a Dodge automatic, regardless of what the bottle claims. A transmission fluid service runs $150 to $250 at a shop. A transmission rebuild runs $2,500 to $5,500. Choice between those two numbers is entirely in your hands. every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. Here's what all 4 of these mistakes have in common. None of them feel dangerous when you do them. Shifting into park a half second early feels like nothing. Rocking a stuck truck feels like problem solving. Towing your rated capacity feels legal and safe. Skipping a fluid change feels like following the manufacturer's guidance. That's exactly why they destroy so many transmissions. The damage is invisible and cumulative, and by the time you feel it, the bill is already written. Your Dodge Automatic was built to last the life of the vehicle with proper care. Every one of these habits cuts that life short in ways you cannot reverse once the damage is done. Stop doing them today.